Hello, welcome. I hope you're doing well. I'm so excited about this video. I'm so excited because it's my first vlog for Battle of the BookTubers. Those of you who are familiar with Danni from Danni Dabbles will know by now what this competition is all about. If you don't already know, then I am going to leave the link to Danni's channel and also to the video she's made that explains the whole competition in the description so that you're up to date. I'm going to give you a very short explanation, but I am so bad at explaining this. So very bad. So please go and watch her original video that explains this competition because she does it so much better than I'm able to do without going on forever and ever and ever. Basically, this is a competition that consists of 16 booktubers that are split into 4 groups. So we are 4 groups of 4 booktubers. Within each group, we're recommending books to the other booktubers that are a part of it. That means that we all end up with 6 books recommended to us. We're going to read those 6 books, rate them, and based on our ratings and our experiences with these books, there are going to be points. And at the end of the competition, the points are going to decide who is the best at recommending books. That's really the whole point of this competition, to find out who is the best at book recommendations. It's been really fun so far. I was not familiar with any of the booktubers that I'm in a group with before this competition. My competitors are Michaela from Michaela Reads, Rainy from Rainy Blue Reads, and Kirsten from Reading Nymph. I'll leave the links to their channels in the description. They're all putting up vlogs as well. I have recommended 2 books to each booktuber, and it's been a really interesting experience to deep dive into their reading tastes, to find out what kind of readers they are, and then give them some book recommendations that I think they're going to really love. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they think of the books that I've recommended once they eventually get to those books. I don't know what order they're doing their recommendations in. I don't know when they'll get around to the books, and I obviously can't say what books I recommended. That's for them to eventually find out. Somewhere in one of their vlogs will be the books that I've recommended to them, and I'm very excited to see what they think. I'm hoping that they really enjoy the books. Just competition aside, I hope that they have a good reading experience. I don't want to recommend them something that they don't end up really enjoying. So it's also been so much fun to receive book recommendations because all of the book recommendations that I've gotten are books that I'm already familiar with and so excited to read. So I'm going to have a great time in this competition, I think. I'm really looking forward to all of these books. So those are my competitors. The book recommendations were done anonymously, so I don't know which of my competitors have recommended which sets of books. We've only been kind of given like a code name. My competitors have been given the code names Booktuber D, Booktuber E, and Booktuber F. And in this video, I'm going to be reading the books that Booktuber D recommended to me. The 2 books that Booktuber D have given me are the first one, the top choice was they recommended The House in the Cerulean Sea by T J Klune, which I say is a chance just because I've not mentioned this book anywhere, and it was not on my Goodreads either. I'm pretty sure that I didn't have it on my Goodreads TBR list. I'm familiar with this book. This book was all over BookTube when it first came out. Everyone was loving it. This is supposed to be like, as I understand it, like a cozy read, a found family trope, which I'm such a sucker for. So maybe not so much of a chance, just because it really falls into the kind of descriptions of books I like that I gave my competitors, but at the same time, I didn't have it anywhere on my bookish profiles. In that sense, they took a chance, but it's a pretty safe chance. I think I'm going to enjoy this. I'm really looking forward to reading it. And the second book that Booktuber D recommended to me is a safe bet because I've talked about this book on my channel. It is on my Goodreads. It's one of the books that I want to prioritize this year, Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is one of these books that I've been meaning to get around to for the longest time. I've had it, I've owned it for several years. I've tried reading it a couple of times but never been in the mood for it. So I'm nervous that I'm not going to be in the mood for it because that might influence my reading experience. But I'm really excited that I finally have to get around to it. I do think that this is the kind of book that I'll really like. I just hope that my mood doesn't ruin the reading experience. So we'll see how this goes. Initial impressions of these recommendations, they're pretty solid. Booktuber D is not around to play. They are here to win. They are not taking any chances. They saw the things that I was looking for in books and said, worry not, I got you. And here we are. They're very different books, right? They're very different books, which I'm kind of glad about. It'll give me a bit of variety, probably help with getting into Jade City if I read something very different first. So I'm liking this so far already. So BookTuber D, this looks really promising. Good on you. I'm very excited and I'm hoping that I really enjoy them. I'm going to start with The House in the Cerulean Sea. I'm really looking forward to just a really cozy read, and I'm hoping that this really hits the mark that I'm expecting of it. I've heard so many things. I've heard so many things about this book, about this author's books in general, and I'm really, really excited. So we're going to get started. Let the battle of the booktubers begin. So I've read the first 2 chapters, and it's funny but sad, and it gives me it makes me think of movies. It's like a very classic, it feels like a very classic start to a movie, like a very classic start to a rom-com. That's the initial vibe anyway. After 2 chapters, Linus has a very sad Linus. It starts off like sad but like chuckle-worthy sad. I am liking it so far though. It's an interesting world. It feels like a, I don't know, like an 80s 90s comedy kind of. It gives me that vibe. I don't really know, but it gives me that vibe. Maybe not like 80s 90s, but like 90s 2000s like comedy with some romance. I don't know. It gives me that like movie vibe for some reason. Even though the initial impression of Linus is that he's pretty sad, and everything's just gone downhill for him in these first 2 chapters. Like everything just keeps getting worse. Comically so, everything keeps getting worse. I don't know, I really enjoy it. I don't think I've read anything quite like this, at least not in a while. So it's a fun time so far. So my initial impression is a good one, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, to Linus getting happy. That's my hope for him anyway. So we keep reading. I've finished The House in the Cerulean Sea by T J Klune, my first book for this challenge, for this competition, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I'm giving this a very solid 4 stars. This is a very solid 4-star read. I really enjoyed the characters. The characters were the best thing about this book. It also definitely gave me the cozy kind of read that I was hoping for and that I expected from it. So it delivered on what I wanted from the book. I didn't love the writing, and part of this book gave me like a middle grade vibe. The name of the agency or organization that our main character works for, like the executives are called extremely upper management, and it just sounds kind of silly and doesn't really sound like it suits being in a book that's not meant for middle grade. And some of the writing too, I just got some middle grade vibes from it, and I don't enjoy reading middle grade books anymore. I didn't love that, and that particular aspect I know is a me problem. It's not a problem with the book in itself, but it did get in the way for my personal enjoyment of the book. So that's really my only point of criticism, and the only reason why it's not like a perfect read for me is just because of the middle grade vibes that kind of kept popping in over and over in various ways, either in like terms that were used or just in the way the writing style sometimes played out. So it's not the perfect book for me, but it's very good. I will be reading more from this author. I'm really, really excited to read more from this author because I really liked what I got here. And like I said, I loved the characters so much. They were so well done, so well fleshed out. They felt really real and believable, which, you know, considering that this is a book about magical creatures, is very well done, and that matters to me a lot. That's like the big thing for me in books, is that I want to believe what I read, and I definitely did. So that was great. The characters felt well fleshed out. They were there, and I want to get to know them all. I want to know them. I want to meet them. They were great. I loved the characters so much, and they made this book. So yeah, a pretty solid 4 stars from me for this one. A great start for me for this competition, or at least from whatever competitor it was who ended up recommending these 2 books for me for this video. This is a great start for you. It's a great start for me. I'm having a great time already. So this was The House in the Cerulean Sea. Next, I have to read, where did I put it? So next up is Jade City. This is both kind of a risk, but also a safe bet. It's a safe bet because it has been a book that I've been wanting to read and wanting to pick up and wanting to get off my TBR list. So it's not a book that I'm unfamiliar with. It's a book that I want to get to anyway. But it is a book that I have a sketchy history with, just because I've tried to read it multiple times and gotten nowhere. So we'll see how this goes. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I'm really, really happy that I'm finally getting to this. This is one of the books that I wanted to get to this year, and I was planning on getting to this year anyway. So I'm glad that I'm being forced to read it now. I have to get into it, and I'm feeling like I am in the mood for it. We'll see. I'm hoping that's the case, because I really don't want that to get in the way for my ratings or my enjoyment of these books. My reading mood, that is. So I think, I hope this will go well for me and for my competitor in that case, but I hope it'll go well for me. I'm ready. I feel ready to get to this now, and I'm very excited. I'm anticipating this quite a bit now, and yeah, so I'm ready. Okay, so I have started Jade City by Fonda Lee. Finally. I've started it, I think, twice before. Never got past the first chapter. I put it down, not because I thought it was bad, but because I was just not in the mood for it. And now I'm 40 pages in, and I'm obsessed. Like, I don't want to put it down. It's midnight, and I have work tomorrow, but I don't want to put it down. I want to keep reading. I want to know what happens. I don't know. I'm loving it. It's really, really good. I'm so intrigued. The world is fascinating so far. What I'm understanding is so cool. I haven't read anything like this in such a long time, if ever, and I just know that I'm going to really, really enjoy this. So whoever picked this book for me, thank you. It seems, so far, my first impression seems to have been worth it. I'm actually enjoying this more at this point in the book than I was the Cerulean Sea. So I'm just having such a great time. This was such a great pick. So different from the Cerulean Sea, which I think that was quite important, actually, that I had two very different books to read after each other. I really like the Cerulean Sea, as you know now, and I'm enjoying this even more at this point. So we'll see if that continues. We'll see how this goes. I want to binge read it. So I'm on my way to getting this off of my physical TBR, finally. And I could not be more satisfied. So, still only just started, still at the very, very beginning of the story, but it's promising. It's really, really promising. I continue. Good morning. So I'm on my way to work, but I thought I'd just quickly pop in to share my thoughts on Jade City so far, because I've gotten a chunk of the way through and I'm really, really enjoying it. I think it's so good so far. I love the characters. Wait, I'm gonna have a seat. So I really like the characters. I love the characters. I love their dynamics with each other. I love their relationships. I think it's refreshing. I just think this is a really refreshing take on a powerful family and their dynamics with each other and their roles in the family and that kind of thing. I'm really, really liking that. It's so refreshing. It's so new to me anyway. I haven't read this kind of powerful family, I don't know if ever, and if I have, then it's been a while. And I love the writing, love the plot, love where this is going. I'm having such a good time so far. It's a solid like 4.5 star book, and if this keeps up, I don't know if I'll end up giving it 5 stars. 5 stars to me, a 5-star book to me is very much a feeling. I don't know if I get the like 5-star feeling, but it's very close. I think it's so far it's a 4.5 book, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm so glad that I actually had to read this book this time. The only thing is I'm struggling a little bit with I'm not understanding all of the aspects of the world and the like kind of Jade and the system around it. I'm not understanding everything, and I'm having a little bit of a hard time keeping up with the world and the people in it and all these names and places. But like that's pretty standard for me, and like anything that's fantasy or fantasy-ish, anything like this that have a lot of names and a lot of places, I struggle a little bit keeping up. But like that's a me problem, that's not a book problem, so I'm not gonna blame the book for that. But yeah, that's the only thing really that I have of criticism. Again, not for the book, but like just for like my reading experience. I'm having a little bit of a trouble keeping up with all of the names and places and stuff like that. But aside from that, I'm loving the writing, the characters dynamics are my favorite. I love them. They feel so real and believable, which is such a must for me. So yeah, having such a great time. I'm gonna run to work now, but I'll be back to reading and finishing the book later today. Hello again. It's been a few days since I finished Jade City. I've been thinking about what to rate it, and I think I've landed somewhere between 4 and 4.5, like 4.25 or something. It's really good. I liked it better than The House at the Cerulean Sea, although they're not really comparable books because they're so different. I enjoyed my time reading both, but I enjoyed reading Jade City a little bit more. It's been a while since I've read fantasy like that, a book like that, and so I think that's part of it. I've just missed it so much and I'm finally in the mood for it, and so I think that kind of helped it along a little bit. All in all, it's a really, really great book. I'm so glad that I've finally finished it. I'm so glad I finally finished it. I really enjoyed the world. The characters were great. It was nitty gritty and kind of rough, but like also just, it kind of scratched an itch. It scratched some sort of itch that I have had. And I don't know if it's just because it's been a while since I've read a book like this, or if it's just because of the execution being so good in this book. I'm not sure. I can't put my finger on it. I've been thinking about it for days and I'm not sure yet what exactly it is that just, what that itch was and what it is that scratched it. But the itch was scratched. I really enjoyed my time with this book. It was really good. I loved the characters. I loved the world. It was immersive. It was, I've said this several times already, but it was believable and it really pulled you in and like kind of engulfed you. And I feel like that's something that the characters experienced too in this world and with Jade and everything. And so the reader kind of, at least in my opinion, I as a reader kind of fell into the world too and almost experienced it in a very similar way to the characters themselves, which was really, really cool. I love getting that feeling, and I don't always get it when I read, but I did with this book. I don't know if I explained that very well, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So yeah, I've settled on a 4.25. Even though I enjoyed so much about it, it didn't give me that 5-star feeling. And I can't really put my finger on it. And I'm so sorry to BookTuber D for not being able to give you a 5-star book. I really enjoyed them though. I thought they were really great. Not all-time favorites, but like as a series, this has the potential to be up there among my favorite series. So yeah, Jade City, 4.25 stars. I had a great time with it. I thought it was great. I'm really excited to get to book 2 and book 3. I'm not going to get to them immediately because there are so many other books I have to get to, but I do really hope that I'll be able to get to the second one before the end of the year, and if not, then this series is a priority next year for sure. I'm just obsessed. I'm obsessed with this book and this story and these characters and this world, and I really enjoyed it. It's up there. It's really up there. So this was a good time. With this book. It was a good time with The House in the Cerulean Sea too. I had to go and get the copy of my book. I'm going to stick by my 4-star rating. I liked this one a lot. I liked this book, but not as much as I liked Jade City. Still a really, really good rating. Really enjoyed this book. I'm keeping the book. I'm going to be reading more of T J Klune. Found family is just my trope. I love this trope. And this one it is found family. And it is cute and heartwarming. And there are so many things that I could highlight in this, and just, it gave me a nice heartwarming feeling. And I don't know, this was a really nice, relatively light read. I'm going to stick by my rating of 4 stars for this one, and then 4.25 for Jade City. If I had to venture a guess as to who of my competitors was the one to recommend these 2 books to me, I think it was either Kirsten or Michaela, and I'm leaning more towards Kirsten. I only know them as BookTuber D. I don't know how many points my scores will give BookTuber D, but they definitely deserve a high one. 4.25 for Jade City, and then 4 stars for The House in the Cerulean Sea. So yeah, Danni, do your thing with the points. Great start for me in this competition. I'm having a great time. Hopefully a good time for BookTuber D, seeing me reading these books and enjoying them. So far, so good. And honestly, one of the most satisfying things about this whole thing is that I've finally gotten to read these 2 books, because neither one was going to be my next pick, especially not The House in the Cerulean Sea, even though I've wanted to read it because I feel like everyone else has read it and I haven't. And so now I have, and I'm glad that I did. And then finally getting Jade City off my TBR. So BookTuber D, if I could give you an extra point for just getting me to finally read Jade City, I would give it to you. Thank you. That's it for this video though. As always, if you have thoughts or opinions on either of the books that I've mentioned and read in this video, then do feel free to share them in the comments and let's chat. I'm always happy to hear what you guys think of the books that I read, what your reading experiences with these books were like. So if you want to share, feel free to do so. But that's all from me this time around. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll have a really good week. I hope you've had a really good day. I hope that the book you're reading is a really good one. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!